Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Tentative Tarot. Let me begin by apologizing if you hear lots of fireworks in the background. It is the evening of July 3rd when I'm filming this and I cannot control what the neighborhood folk are doing tonight, so here we are. Anyway, today we're going to be asking the cards what you can expect in love before the end of 2026 or in the next 6 months from whenever you're finding this. We're going to start by looking at overarching energy for everybody who chose the pile that you're in. And then after that, I'm going to break things down and I'll put timestamps on the screen so you can skip ahead to the part you want to listen to. But I'll break it down so that you can get messages if you are single without a person of interest in mind, if you're single but you do have someone in particular on your mind that you want to hear about or know about, and then also those of you who are in a relationship. At the end, we will actually wrap things up for anybody that wants to stick around for the end of each of the piles, and we will do a yes or no spread quickly. And that can be about the topic at hand, or it can be about just whatever is on your heart or mind. So, if that sounds good, let's go ahead and look at your pile options for this reading. For the first pile, we have this raw carnelian. For pile number 2, we have this raw pink tourmaline. And for pile number 3, we have this raw rose quartz. So if you're not sure which pile you want to choose, that's okay. You can pause the video here. But whenever you are ready, you can scroll down to the description box or to the pinned comment and click on the timestamp that matches the reading that you wish to listen to, and I will see you there. Hi, Pile 1. If you chose this carnelian, welcome to your reading. Today we're going to be asking the cards what you can expect in love by the end of 2026 or within the next 6 months from whenever you find this. We're going to start with some pre-shuffled oracle cards, the one that you chose, as well as a couple others, to get an overarching sense of what you can expect in love for everybody that chose pile 1. And then I'm going to pull tarot and interpret separately for those who are single without a person of interest, those who are single with a person of interest, and those who are already in a relationship. I will put timestamps on the screen so you can click ahead if you don't want to listen to all of the messages, although sometimes messages will come through that apply to different situations, of course. And then finally, we're going to close out for everybody that wants to come back for the end. I'm actually going to do a quick yes or no spread. So if you have a particular question on your mind about love, or I guess about anything, I'll put a timestamp for that as well. So you can click to that and get an answer to your question. So if that sounds good, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so the first card we have is number 33, the caregiver. That's amazing because I saw 333 as I was starting the reading. We have number 18, the boar and pumpkin, with the keyword confidence. And then finally we have number 11, dragon, with power. Okay, so pile number 1, what can you expect in love in the next 6 months? The first thing that's coming through for you, pile 1, is that you're going to feel very cared for. Now that could of course be in lots of ways. You could be taking really good care of yourself. You could feel cared for by your friends, by your family. But I'm getting a strong message that you'll feel that way in love. Now, if you are single and you don't really think a committed relationship is in the cards for you by the end of the year, what that's telling me is that you're going to have a boundary of sorts about a certain amount of care that you require or need to receive. So if you're going on dates or you've recently separated from somebody and you're healing from that or whatever else, if you don't feel directly cared for by another person, right, like by a significant other or others, I think you will feel like that energy is required for you, I suppose, in a relationship. I still get the sense that you will feel cared for though. And so that could be like spiritually, or you're connecting like with the energy of somebody in the future or something. But that's just for that specific situation, right? But I think regardless, for everybody, I think you're gonna feel really cared for. And I want to say really treasured and really precious. I'm sort of struggling with this confidence and power energy a little bit. And for that matter, I was a bit with the caregiver energy. And I think it's because it's hard for me to tell whether that's the energy of like a significant romantic partnership in your life or whether that's your own energy. And I wonder if that's because it's both. Like, I get the sense that you feel very sure of your own value. And if that's something you're still in the process of working on, that's okay, right? This is like for the next 6 months. But I feel like you know on some level, or you will know, how much you have to offer, how valuable you are. I think you know that you deserve to be taken care of. And I think that there's power in that. And like I said, it's interesting because on one hand, I feel this being your energy, like regardless of what's going on for you, if you're completely single, uninterested, if you're in a committed relationship, you're married, you have children, whatever, and everywhere in between, right? Like there is power in you knowing your worth and in you knowing how you deserve to be treated and cared for. I suspect that this was hard won. So whether that's because you've done healing from childhood stuff, from past relationships, from issues with friends, all of the above, I don't know. But I do get the sense that there's been, and maybe there still is, significant healing here. But regardless, I think you are seeing, or again, learning to see yourself as, I just keep wanting to say precious, as worthy of love and care regardless, as deserving to be treated well, no matter how you look, no matter what you're doing, right? Like, I'm not talking about people shouldn't hold you accountable for things or that you never do anything wrong, of course, right? That's normal. But I mean, no matter what, you're deserving of love and care. And no matter what, you're deserving of being safe. And you're deserving of nurture. I keep getting this sense that you have so much to offer. Like, you feel very fertile, and I mean, sure, that could be in a like baby making sense if that's meaningful to you, but that's not really what's coming through most strongly. I mean that in a just like you have so much to offer, you have so much creative power. And I think like you feel like a really generous person. So like not just so much to offer in any type of sense, but where like you really feel devoted and dedicated to caring for others, right? And to, I want to say like really changing the world or making the world a better place or leaving it better than you found it or all of the above. And I think you knowing that about yourself and recognizing that that's, I mean, not rare in the sense that, you know, lots and lots and lots of people can hopefully resonate with this reading and this message, but also rare in the sense that I don't think that all of the people that you've come into contact with like have that same level of commitment and integrity that you do about this. And so I think regardless, I mean, of course, everyone deserves an extreme amount of love, but I really think you see your value in an incredibly deep way. And my eye keeps going back to this dragon. I think you're either feeling very protected by the significant other that is already in your life or that is going to be in your life, or by like energies around you. And those could, of course, be like parts of yourself. But I think you feel like if that's the case, the divine has your back, or you feel protected and loved by, you know, a future person that will be in your life. But I do feel this really strong, like, you can rest now, you can be cherished now. You see your value, and that's being reflected back to you in love. There's also something about this glowing light here. This protection and this care that I'm talking about you receiving throughout the next 6 months in love. I think part of the benefit of it that, I don't know why I want to say, but maybe you didn't see or haven't seen or haven't acknowledged or couldn't receive in the past. I don't know. I'm not sure why that wording is coming through. But a benefit of that protection is also this energy of like somebody else holding and seeing your light even when you can't see it yourself. But that's not exactly what I want to say. I guess I mean to say, I don't know about you, but for me, like, I can really cycle through lots of emotions in any given day, in any given hour. Just depends on what's going on. I mean, also like empathically, right? I can pick up all kinds of things and stuff like that. And it does, at least for me, take me a reasonable amount of time to sort through what's mine and what's not. But it's not only that, it's also like, it's not so much in some of those different emotional states that I've forgotten my own light. It's that I'm not so much focused on it. In the sense that I'm sort of flowing with whatever's in front of me, whatever emotions I'm currently having, whatever is currently on my mind. And I can be like tending to this information, right? Like sensory experience, emotional experience, intellectual experience. And I don't think that like, I mean, for me, that feels really healthy to be doing that and to be in flow with that. But I guess the point is that I don't feel like I always have this strong sense of like, oh yes, this is who I am in some like, you know, concrete definable sense. This is the value that I have. That's sort of something I have to remind myself at the end of the day or in difficult moments or something, right? But it's not because it's not there or the belief is not there necessarily. But anyway, I share that in case you can relate. And to say, like, I think part of you feeling cared for, feeling protective, feeling valued is like that energy is being mirrored back to you in a really consistent way through the next 6 months. And I think what that's doing is it is allowing you to be in the flow and to be in whatever moment that you're in. Sort of like because you don't have to have your guard up to protect your light, right? Like not only is somebody protecting it, but they're mirroring it back to you in the protecting. And I think this is going to do a lot for you. I think it's going to be really healing for you. And I think it's going to make you feel really safe, really comfortable, really at ease being in that state of flow, if that's meaningful to you. And if that isn't something you're used to, like being able to rest, being able to be cared for and to receive, being in flow, especially emotionally, I think that's something I think you're going to like receive space to be able to do and lean into and experiment with by the end of the year. I think you're also going to feel really beautiful or really attractive over the next 6 months. And that could be something that you're doing for yourself. That could be because you're getting that feedback from, you know, others in romantic situations or from your significant other. But there's something magical here. Like there's something where you feel seen in a way that you're not used to, and that's allowing you to come out of your shell, to blossom in whatever way. That could be in love, or it could be in other spaces instead or as well. And I'm kind of getting the sense that that's coming through this feeling of protection and care and being valued and precious to someone or other, you know, someone's else. Yeah, it just really feels like, oh, wait, I'm worth this level of investment. And like, I knew that, but having that like tangibly acted out for me, on my behalf, is allowing me to step into that more fully. And I think that feels magical. Like, it feels like it transforms you in a way. And I don't think it's transforming you. I think, like, internally you've always been this person, but I wonder if you're going to feel more comfortable and confident stepping into this, stepping into the light, if you will, or owning these parts of yourself more fully because you have the space to do so and because it's being seen in you and reflected back to you. Yeah. Okay. So if that sounds good, let's go ahead and get into the tarot. And I'm going to start with those who are single without a person of interest. So if you want to skip ahead, I will put the timestamps up now. But for those who are sticking around, we have the Ten of Wands. We have the Six of Arrows, or Six of Swords. And we have the Lovers. Okay. So for those of you who are currently single without a person of interest, I do really feel like you're in a healing phase right now. And I don't know if that's, again, to do with relationships or friendships or job stuff or childhood issues or all of the above, some combination thereof. I think you're in this space of really learning to care for yourself, learning to care for your inner child, however you want to see that. I think you're looking back at past patterns in relationship, in any kind of relationship, and really considering, I want to say, places where you were carrying too much, but I don't necessarily mean that. I mean, that could be in the way of just trying to care for everybody. It absolutely could be, but it doesn't have to be that. When I say that, it's like the things we could be carrying, first of all, that can be largely subconscious. And second of all, I think sometimes that can be energetic and something we don't even know that we're doing. And I wonder whether that's true for you. Like, I wonder whether you've taken on a lot of energy from people in the past, and behavior-wise, that could have looked all kinds of ways, right? Or it might have looked really healthy. It's tricky when you kind of learn and know how to do a lot of things to be in a healthy relationship, and yet you're picking up energy that you're not sure how to stop picking up, right? Or you don't even know that you're doing it. But regardless, I feel like you've felt very burdened. So again, that could be in a multitude of ways. But I suspect that you have walked away from someone or from multiple people, and or just from that pattern of relating, or both. And right now you're really doing the work of telling yourself new stories, like I was talking about here, of like who you are and what you're worth. Stories about how you deserve to be treated. Stories about what was your responsibility and what wasn't. I'm getting the message that you might be somebody who does really try to like look at yourself and how did I contribute to this situation or these situations. And I'm not saying that's not a healthy thing to do. Accountability is beautiful. And also, I wonder whether part of the healing you're doing right now is recognizing the extent to which that is something others can sometimes take advantage of, right? And sort of tell you that you were acting in a problematic way and that, okay, well, both of us made a mistake or something like that, right? And that might well be true. But I think there might be places where you deserved to be treated better, and you might feel like you need to have much higher boundaries up because of that, or you have had to. But I think largely right now, I don't necessarily see you in a boundaried place. I see you more so in a place where you're focusing on healing. So it's possible that you're doing this in a dating context. I don't really see that, to be honest, but that's absolutely possible. I more so see you taking a step back from dating a romantic relationship and really saying, like, okay, hold on, like, I need to learn to see myself clearly because I'm worth a lot more than the love I'm receiving have been receiving would suggest. Um, and I don't know that you, again, like, didn't know you were worthy. I just wonder whether you didn't realize that. I just wonder whether you didn't have like healthy relationships modeled for you. So you didn't know how good a relationship could be because you haven't really witnessed it. Or you didn't know that it was like you were worthy of, protecting, of being seen as precious because nobody ever really treated you that way. So I think right now, whatever it is, you're in the process of really giving that to yourself and doing whatever healing you need to do. I think that seeing this Lovers card here, it could absolutely be in the next 6 months, or it could be around 6 months from now, or it could be much sooner, kind of depending where you're at in this healing process. And I think I almost feel like I don't need to tell you that because you'll sort of know intuitively when you're ready. But I actually think you really are going to meet a really significant person for you romantically. I mean, it could be the person, right? I think you're going to meet somebody who you pretty quickly see forever potential with, who feels like a blessing or a miracle or just a huge change from where things have been for you. And I think that will be something that you will have done the work to know how to navigate, to kind of make sure, like, okay, is this something I'm choosing? And am I choosing it consciously and knowingly and communicating with this person about it and all of that? But I really see this person like showing you how valuable you are. And I see it being something that really lights you up. And yes, I think in a passionate way. I think both of you will feel that way. But I think even more so, like, it's gonna boost your confidence even more. Again, I really see this as somebody that, yes, in certain ways, in a lot of ways, probably mirrors you. Whether that's that they've had similar experiences or they have similar traits, or that they just reflect you back to you accurately. I think that's the more important part here. I think that they really, really see your value. Like that message is coming through so strongly. And I think that will be one of the reasons you know that you're ready and you feel kind of safe and prepared and like it'll be okay to start a new relationship with somebody, because they will make it so obvious to you that you're worth their time, their energy, their investment, and why they're doing that and what they see in you. I think something about it will feel really lucky or surprising. So I don't know if that's like how you meet them that feels that way. It's very possible that if you are watching this when I post it, that's like around the holiday time that you meet them. But it certainly doesn't have to be. Like I said, this could be much sooner, just depending on where you're at. But even if it's not that time of year, I think there's this sense of serendipity, of magic, of surprise. And I just feel you kind of like, wait, is it like, is this allowed to feel this good? Can I trust this? Is this magic? Like, what is this? Um, and obviously, listen to your intuition, take your time. But I think you really will be seeing this person clearly. And I think really it was just going to feel that different for you to have somebody invest in you in the way that you've always deserved. And I think they'll be reflecting back to you the work that you've done and the things that you've come to know or learn about yourself. Yeah. Okay. So, for those who are single, but do have a particular person of interest. What do I see here? For you, I definitely think you've had to walk away from this person. Like, I see you making the choice to walk away and being really sad to have done so. And now, if you were in a relationship with this person, like maybe you broke up with them or something, but they could have, done that to you. If you were not in a relationship, if you were just interested, I still get the sense that regardless of who instigated it, you've felt like, okay, this situation as it stands is not going to give me what I want. And I have all this passion, all this love. I see all this potential. And yet I'm out here in the desert by myself with no water, right? And in the Ten of Wands card, on the Rider-Waite-Smith artwork, if I remember correctly, there's like a house that this person sees in the distance and they're kind of in the final push to get there. And in this scene, that's not there. And I'm sure that's, for good reasons. But it's just what it's saying to me is it's like, oh, this doesn't feel like, oh, I'm in the final push here. Like I just need to push through. It feels like oh, there's nothing here for me. I need to walk away. And that's extremely painful because I see and have all this love and all this hope and all this investment in what could have been but isn't. I do feel like that, painful as I'm sure that was or has been or still is, I see you really feeling your heart space protected through that and being really clear on the fact that that was the right choice for you and that was a really courageous act of love on your own behalf. And I suspect what you're doing right now is really trying to sort through what happened and why. I do see you feeling a little bit defeated, a little bit run down, a little bit undervalued. And my heart goes out to you. I get the sense, though, that you really feel like, I don't know whether it's, God or the universe or spirit that you feel coming through to care for you right now. Whether you've got somebody in particular in your life who's doing that. It feels like, I want to say somebody in masculine energy, quote unquote, but it certainly does not have to be a man. But this could be somebody kind of reminding you that you deserve to be loved. And I shouldn't just say reminding you, I think showing you tangibly in some way. And this could, of course, be a part of yourself too. But whether you've got friends or a particular good friend, a therapist, a parent, an elder, somebody you look up to, it's possible that you're in a relationship with somebody else, although that could be true for some of you. That could definitely be true for some of you. But it certainly doesn't have to be. But I do see you feeling a bit shut down, your confidence a bit knocked. Just feeling like whatever you were trying to give really was not reciprocated here. I do really see you trying to sort through deep emotions and stories around this. And a part of me does wonder whether that deep emotional work is what's being reflected when I say you feel run down or you feel like your confidence is knocked and all those kinds of things. It's possible that by and large right now you're not feeling that, but when you kind of look to the deeper emotion of what's going on, you feel that way. I do think you feel a bit self-protective regardless. And that seems very reasonable. It looks like you really felt, hurt and burdened by whatever went on between you and this person. But I don't get the sense that your heart is freed of this energy, right? And I guess that makes sense, right? This is for somebody who has a person of interest. But I guess even if you have started dating other people, or even if you believe that the door is closed with this person and so you're really trying to move on, I don't think your heart is ready to move on. And that in and of itself could put you in a self-protective energy, right? Where it's I still love this person, but also they weren't treating me right, or they weren't reciprocating, or it wasn't a healthy dynamic for whatever reason. And so that could put you at a place where you feel like you need to sort of sit with yourself and your own like deeper or murkier emotions, or like kind of inner churning, if you will, because you don't feel like fully aligned within yourself. And if that's the case, I mean, I hope that you're really being gentle with yourself, because that makes sense. Like sometimes we love people that are not able, either in this moment or in general, to be a healthy partner to us, and that doesn't make us wrong, right? And the healing from that can be really complicated. So I do really hope that you have, people around you that are helping you take care of yourself and be gentle with yourself while you're sorting through that. Within the next 6 months, I suspect a renewal of the relationship that was. It's possible that it's somebody new, but it feels like it's the person coming in from the past to me, at least for most of you. For some of you, if you have entered a new relationship, it's possible that you will be presented with a choice between kind of the new person and the old person. But what I will say is, I don't see you confused about what you want to do. So whether this is a new person, a past person, or a choice between two or many, I see you with a lot of clarity around what makes the most sense for you. And maybe it's none of the above, right? But I see like a happy reunion of sorts, or if not reunion, like a happy renewal of love, if it's with a person you're with now. But it feels like immense gratitude and contentedness and, ooh, my voice is going as I'm saying this. It feels like this choice, whatever it is celebratory. I think for most of you, like I said, this is this person from the past coming back. If that's the case, I see them investing in a way that is really tangible and obvious, and feels like it's really an attempt to say, like, you were carrying all of this before. Like, I want to carry this now. I want to invest in you, kind of in the way that I was talking about with the initial cards here. And it feels like the choice is being presented to you. Like, hey, I didn't, for whatever reason, invest in this way before, but I'm here now and ready to do that, and to earn your trust and to show you how valuable you are to me, and to allow you to be in a position of choice, to decide whether the way that I'm investing in you does bring you life, does reflect these things back to you. And I think for most of you, it will. And I think for those of you where it doesn't, because it's either like, well, this is not the right person, or they're not, coming through in the right energy, I think you really will have the confidence, and you will be able to stand in your power, right? To say, actually, no, like, I deserve this level of care and love, and that's not what you're giving me. But I do feel a little bit of like this person, like within the next 6 months, this person being really the one taking the action and investing, and you being in a really receptive energy, and not necessarily like making them prove themselves or work for it in a bad way. But I do think like allowing them to earn your trust, and allowing them to demonstrate what it is that they want and what they're wanting to do to build that with you. And I think you're allowing them to do that so that you can see what makes the most sense for you. And like I said, I think it feels celebratory and fun. I think you feel really cherished and valued. And I also feel like you're clear on the fact that the decision is yours. Yeah. And I guess I just want to say too, if you are in this space where you're like, well, that would be a miracle if that person came back or did the work or made the effort, or I really can't picture that. First of all, that's okay, be where you're at. Like I said, I think you're sorting through a lot of stuff right now, so take care of you. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I mean, you never have to believe what I'm saying, right? Take what resonates. But also, if there's a part of you that says, yes, that does resonate, but I can't understand it or picture it or imagine it, it feels like a miracle, I think it's okay to keep it in that category. And I'm not sure exactly why that feels important to say, but I wonder whether there's this like, because they didn't treat me this way before, or I've never been treated this way before, or both, it might be just hard to picture that in general. And there might be a part of you that's like, I can't even picture anybody treating me like this. And so I think this message is coming through to say, like, that's okay. That doesn't mean it won't happen. You take care of you, do whatever sorting through makes sense for you. And if there's a part of you that is holding on to this hope but feels like it's a miracle, let that be so. You don't have to figure out how this is possible. You don't have to, because the point here is you don't need to earn this. Like, you're already worthy of that level of love, whether that's been demonstrated to you before or not. So you take care of you and let the miracles unfold for you as they will. You don't need to figure it out, because it's not yours to figure out, it's theirs to figure out. Whether this is the person from the past or a new person, or both, I don't know, but your job, if you will, is simply to recognize that you deserve this level of love and to treat yourself with this level of love, and to like surround yourself with friends and a job and family and whomever that reflects that back to you as much as possible, right? Like, do whatever healing work you need to do. Learn to have healthier relationships with yourself and with others, whether romantic or platonic or professional or whatever. And let them do the work of coming in and showing up in this energy that's hard for you to even imagine, because that's really on them. But yeah, I know like lots of heavy energy potentially here, but for those of you who are listening to this part, it feels really happy and good and celebratory, like within the next 6 months. But I totally understand if it's hard to feel that right now. Okay, and for those who are currently in a relationship, what do I see in the next 6 months? For those who are currently in a relationship, the most important thing I see for you in the next 6 months is a renewal of the passion, of the excitement. And that could be, like, there could be nothing wrong in your relationship right now. I mean, it's okay if there is, but even if there isn't, it could just be that you've been busy, that you've had a lot going on, and you're going to feel like there's time within the next 6 months. And it might be time that you're scheduling and that you're choosing, right? But there's this investment that you're making in each other to say, hey, wait, you're really valuable to me. I really want to make you feel cared for, safe, right? All the things we talked about in the beginning. I do see this other person making a point of bringing that energy to you in the next 6 months. So let's say you've been going through a lot at work, or you've had like family issues to deal with, or, you know, issues with friends, or a parent's health to deal with, or something like that. Maybe your kids are driving you nuts. Maybe, you know, you're trying to move to a new apartment and that's been exhausting. I think you felt very cared for and protected by this person, but I think you probably weren't in like this lovely, fertile, confident energy I talked about here, where you could relax and have like all these beautiful things mirrored back to you, because life has just been lifing, right? So you know that they're there and they've been a constant presence and they've been helping you in whatever way. But it feels like, and this happens so often, right? Especially when we go through hard things. There's a lot of ways in which I think the relationship has been, you know, like conversations are focused on logistics, or, you know, maybe connecting in whatever way, even physically, like here and there. But it's like the romance has not been blossoming recently, and probably for a bit of a season, and that's okay. I think it sounds like kind of rightfully so, like you weren't in the headspace to even receive it. And I think in the next 6 months, that's really lightening up. So that could be because like things are changing, or that could be because like whatever these burdens were or have been, there's some sort of a reprieve from that. But either way, I see a lot more fun, a lot more joy. And I think, again, like this person really particularly intentionally showering you with energy, attention, praise. It certainly could be passion and desire. But if it is that, it doesn't feel like, like, oh, it's been a long time, like, let's connect in this, physical way only or something. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels much more like, I want to shower you with love and affection, as a form of care, as a way to come back to each other. Yeah, I know I'm saying like predictions in relationship, but for you, there feels like, for this group particularly, it feels like there's a little bit of a like you getting to focus on you, and like this person, the most important thing you need to know about your relationship is this person is going to like instigate a lot of that and reflect all of that back to you and like how valuable you are. But I sort of see you sitting back on your throne. I just saw 2222 on the camera timer. Really getting to be taken care of in all kinds of ways. And I think this is really going to like replenish you because you've been going through a lot, and kind of restore your confidence, restore your power, like remind you that you're valuable just because, that you're precious to somebody just because. I think you've been out here doing a lot, going through a lot, dealing with a lot of things. Probably you're physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted. And I think this is gonna do a lot to bring you back to life. So again, this might be something that like you need to actively like make a choice to make time for in your life, but it feels less like that and more like this person is going to instigate that for you. But of course, I mean, do what makes sense for you. Yeah, it might even be that the choice for you is to just like ask for this. If this sounds like something that you'd like, or it'd be meaningful to have more of this, even if you are still going through whatever you're going through, I think communicating that um, might go a long way over the next 6 months. Just sort of name what it is that you want and allow yourself to be cared for in the ways that you need. Okay, so now that we've looked at all of that, let's do a really quick yes or no spread. This can be a question about literally anything. I will give you a yes or no, but then I'll also just unpack it a little bit in case you want more information about like what could shift the energy. Because of course, I'm just reading for, in this very moment, what seems the most likely. And sometimes, I don't know if you guys ever read your own cards, but sometimes I will do this spread and I will absolutely know that the answer is one thing and a different answer will come out. And I will be able to see from the cards that are there, like what my mental blocks are, that I'm like not fully welcoming, whatever it is that I want. So, as I said, go ahead and take a second, think about whatever it is that you have a yes or no question about. Let's go ahead and see what we get. Okay. Pile number one. That's almost the fastest yes I've ever gotten. I'm normally looking to get 3 aces, and you can get up to like 39 cards to get to this 3 aces, and we got them in 4 cards, so that's pretty amazing. What I would say, whatever it is you're asking about, it's sort of fascinating to me that we've got all the suits present here. The ace that's missing is the Ace of Cups, right? But then you've got this 7 of Cups. Pretty sure I just made all of that crooked. I'm a little overwhelmed by how fast that yes came out. Hopefully that's better. I do wonder if whatever you're asking about right now, it's like hard to see how it could be true. That like, yes, you know in your heart it is true, that the answer is absolutely yes. But right now your vision is kind of clouded. And I think that's just because of whatever you're currently going through or you've recently been through or both. And I think taking the time to let yourself say, okay, yes, there are lots of things swirling around in my mind right now, and I don't need to like tame that per se, but I also probably don't need to let my fear like run away with me. I can see my fear and like do work with it, but I don't need to like give into it, right? It's sort of like seeing the distractions and the emotions for what they are. And that's not a way of saying like avoid them or shut them down or just insist that you know what's true. Those emotions are present for a reason, and they're coming up because they want to be seen, right? And worked with and integrated. And I think that's what you're doing right now. I think you're really attempting to work with your emotions, sort through whatever stories you need to, so that you can build a foundation for whatever it is that you want. And I think within the next 6 months, you're going to see the truth of this. Okay, so pile number 1. Those are all the messages that I am seeing here for you today. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. If you enjoyed, I would love it if you would consider liking the video or subscribing or commenting and letting me know. I'd love to hear from you. But regardless, I hope that you take care of yourself, have a wonderful rest of the year, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. If you chose this pink tourmaline, welcome to your reading. Today we are going to be asking the cards for some predictions in love for you by the end of 2026 or within the next 6 months from whenever you're finding this. First, we will look at some pre-shuffled oracle cards to get an overarching sense of what you can expect in love in the next 6 months for everyone who clicked on the pile, regardless of your relationship status. And then I will put timestamps up because I will pull tarot and interpret it first for those who are single without a person of interest, those who are single with a person of interest, and also those who are in a relationship right now. Then I will also put a timestamp up for if you want to come back at the end. I'm going to pull a quick yes or no spread, and that can be about love and relationship, but it can also be about just anything that's on your mind. So if that sounds good, let's go ahead and get started. The first card we've got for you is number 16, the Knight. Then I've got number 17, the Salamander and Black Pepper with the keyword inspiration. And finally we've got number 32, Raven Spirit with the keyword truth. Okay, pile number 2. The first thing I want to say, pile number 2, I know not necessarily related to these cards, but while I was meditating before your group, I saw a lion in my head, and it seemed like, I don't know, a cartoonish lion or something. And then when I was pre-shuffling the tarot cards, I saw this on the bottom, the Strength card, the pretty adorable cartoonish lion here. And then I also kept flipping to the Justice card on accident. We will wait and like obviously see what comes out in the tarot cards. But I feel a couple of things. I was also having a hard time settling my energy before the reading, and when I was trying to shuffle all the decks like in advance, I was feeling really choppy. I felt like a ton of them wanted to come out and stuff like that. And I wonder whether that's because there's a lot going on in the next 6 months. I also wonder whether you're somehow nervous about this message or this reading, or whether that's the energy of like somebody else coming through, like a current or future significant other. But all of that said, seeing this truth card made me think of all of that, because I do wonder whether there is truth coming through for you in the next 6 months. It doesn't feel like it's truth that you don't, on some level, already know. Like, I'm getting the sense that you intuitively know whatever this is, but that your partner or romantic interest is going to reveal some kind of truth to you, or you're going to discover some kind of truth about yourself in relationship, or both. I think this is going to really confirm for you, first of all, how intuitive you are, and encourage you to trust yourself. But there's also this sort of funny energy coming through of you sort of laughing to yourself a little bit and recognizing that this is something that you manifested. I think in the next 6 months, this is such a like funny message coming through because it feels really specific. And so I keep hesitating because I'm like, wait, how could this apply to people at all different levels of relationship? But I'll just share what I'm seeing and go from there. I feel like your partner or current romantic interest or future romantic interest, but somebody in your life feels really inspired to come towards you, to confess love to you, to tell you they want to take things to the next level, to, I don't know, something. It feels fairly traditional though. It doesn't feel like the truth they're coming forward with is like some kind of confession of some wrongdoing or something like that. I mean, of course it could be for a few of you, but by and large, that's not how it feels. If it is that, this person is wanting to like take accountability, heal things, repair things, like live completely differently, do differently with you, by you, whatever. I mean, whether you accept that or not, of course, is up to you. But I'm getting this sense that this person, like this other person, feels really inspired and like divinely inspired to, in some sense, behave in a way they never have before. Now, if you're already in a partnership and you have a really romantic partner, it could just be that you guys are taking things to the next level, making some kind of commitment there, renewing your love for each other, going on some kind of adventure you've never been on before. Like, it doesn't have to be that like their personality is drastically shifting. If there's a particular person of interest that you have, I think they're going to show up with more romance and more love than you've ever seen from them before, and perhaps than they've ever, given before. I just see them in a really different energy than they're used to. And I think the same if this is somebody that you meet, that you don't have a person of interest right now and you meet somebody dating or whatnot. You might not know this until later, but I think they're going to feel inspired to really pursue you in a way that they've never had the confidence to do before. Regardless, though, I think there's going to be some truth revealed in this. If you're in a relationship, it's like somebody coming to you and saying like, hey, actually, like, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, or what I want with you, or something like that. If it's a person of interest, they're coming through and they're like, hey, actually, like, I want to build this with you, right? And if it's somebody brand new, they might say something to you, like, again, like, you might not realize they're acting differently than they've ever acted because you don't know them very well, I assume, but they're kind of coming through with this like, wow, I've never felt so inspired to pursue somebody so strongly. And I see you receiving all of this, and I also see you kind of having known this was coming in some sense. And I don't know whether that's just because you're getting this message now, because you're somebody really intuitive, because you listen to lots of readings. I have no idea. Maybe you pull your own cards or something like that. But I see you in this sort of funny energy, like, I knew it, or I knew this would come, or something. And I don't mean to suggest that you're not excited about it or receiving it well or something like that. but there's something about you where you feel very self-contained. And it feels a little bit, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it feels a little bit of a like, all right, well, come show me. It feels like you might play, it's not like playing hard to get. I don't mean that in a like playing toxic games kind of way, but a little bit of a like, impress me, I'm worth it. And it feels playful. It of course could come from a place where you're like sort of protecting your heart, and that's fine if that's the case. But I don't necessarily get that either. It's just kind of a like, I'm a queen, I know what I'm worth. You don't have to be a woman, of course. You can be a king or a gender neutral monarch. But essentially, like, I know what I'm worth. I know that I'm fabulous. I've been told what I deserve by myself, by my guides. And I'm happy to sit here on my throne while you come show me what you got. But there's this like sort of, like I said, it's a funny energy. It's like a little bit coy, a little bit like, okay. Where you knew this in advance, where you saw this coming. And I keep pausing because it doesn't feel like, so forgive me for the abrupt interruption. I'll have to see if I can get back to where I was, but my kiddo just called with a really important question about, or information about her never-ending quest to try to find a Nouveau. Which, I mean, help a mom out if you guys know how to find one. Anyway. But it reminded me, this energy that I'm trying to describe, what it feels like is justice. What it feels like is not this like I said, it doesn't feel like games. It doesn't feel like you're, I already knew that. Nothing like that. I mean, it's fine. I mean, be in whatever energy you're in. But it's not that. It's more like, this is justice. So it could be justice because you're getting back on the same page with your partner. It could be justice because you gave a lot to this person that you are interested in, and now they're coming back to invest in you. It could be that this is justice because you've been through a lot of hell, and so this new person in your life actually showing up and really pursuing you is really restoring balance for the ways that you've been treated. But whatever the case, I think that strength energy coming through is this other person, like putting down their fear, putting down their ego, that like kind of messy feeling energy where the cards are going all over the place. I feel like that's this other person's energy. They're inspired and they know they need to take action. And there's this like, I want to take strong, decisive action while at the same time putting my kind of ego in a fear sense down, right? And telling you how important you are to me and what I want with you, and that, that I want to pursue or that's important to me. And there's this sense of justice or balance being restored in that happening. And I think that's the energy that I largely feel with this truth card, is a justice energy coming through. And I guess I didn't really connect it in case anyone's really curious. My kiddo is super, super keen on justice, has always been. And I don't know that that's, I don't think it's on purpose. I don't know that she'd articulate it in that way, I guess. But fairness is incredibly important to her and always has been on all kinds of levels and in all kinds of ways. So I think that lovely inspiration, or that, interruption, helped me kind of return to those initial cards that I saw when I was shuffling before your pile, and reminded me that when this truth is spoken, there will be a sense of justice being restored in whatever way for you in the next 6 months. I do think by and large, though, the next 6 months are going to feel fairly romantic. This kind of classic looking red rose, just, it doesn't have to be that, of course. But I am feeling some sort of chivalrous, romantic attention going in your direction, and somebody really making you feel like, the queen that you are. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put timestamps up now. We are first going to start with those who are currently single and do not have a person of interest. Get messages there, and then there will be timestamps up for people who are single with a person of interest, people who are in a relationship, and also if you want to click ahead to the yes no part, I'll put that up there as well. Okay, so we've got the King of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. So for those of you who are single and currently do not have a person of interest, I cannot get over the echoing here with the salamander and the salamander. And this Knight of Cups is reminding me of this knight here. Fascinating. I'm going to actually switch the order for that reason, because those similarities are just too much. All right, first thing, for those of you currently single, it is possible that you will have lots of people vying for your attention in the next 6 months. These could be 3 separate people, 3 separate energies, absolutely. I also got the message that you could be embodying this King of Cups energy, where you feel like you are able to navigate your emotions really well. You are able to be present to the emotions of others. You could, teach in some way, or do inspirational work, or be a therapist of some kind. I'm also getting this sense that you are just very clear on how you want to feel in a relationship. And so, people taking action, coming towards you, offering you love, you are not coming from a place of lack. You know what you're worth. You know how to fill your own cup. You have lots of other things and people and activities and situations in your life that do fill your cup. So you're able to be in a position where you can be really discerning about people coming towards you. I'm just seeing these lions here on this. Wow. Anyway, I also see it being possible that this is all the energy of one person that's coming towards you, or that you're going to meet and have a relationship with in the next 6 months. Not meaning it's going to only last those 6 months. It could last a long time. I don't know. But I think somebody you're going to establish a relationship with during the next 6 months. And I wonder whether this person is somebody who in the past really felt like they mastered their fire energy, right? And has gotten to a place where they say, oh, okay, I know when I act, I'm coming from a place of inspiration, from a place of alignment with the divine or spirit or whatever it is I believe in, my higher self. And they are they've done that work in the past. Or I guess this could be in the future, depending, but kind of when you meet them, that would have been past work they've done, and they felt really inspired to come towards you. I think they feel less confident in their cup's energy if that's the case. In their emotion, in knowing how to share it, in feeling confident in it. The way I was describing that you might kind of already know how to fill your own cup, they might not. And so when they come towards you in this energy, it might be with a little bit of I'm on my way to that. I want to really show you and invest in you. Show you that I care about you, or I'm interested in you. I want to be really romantic. And you might sense in them this ability they have to get to this King of Cups energy, but they might not be all the way there yet. I definitely do think that's coming. It might not, they might not fully come into that in the next 6 months. But I'm not necessarily worried about that. there's this sense in which it's like, it's not an immaturity per se. It's that, again, like, this is a person who is acting in a way that is just out of their comfort zone or out of character, I think in a good way for them. And so they might be just a little shaky in the way that they come towards you, a little bit nervous when they, kind of reveal this truth to you about that they've never felt this strongly or acted this way before or something. They might be a little unsure or, feel a little bit vulnerable saying that to you. But I think you will know and they will know that they're like on their way to feeling a lot of confidence about being able to show up like for you with a lot of emotional strength. I'm also getting the message that this is somebody you will find very attractive. And there might be a little bit of what's going on here might be that they are unsure of that, of like how attractive they are. And I do think you're going to find them physically attractive, but I wonder if they're a little bit worried, like, am I attractive or enough for this person, like on all kinds of levels? And I think that's part of what they will come into, through this process, not necessarily of you, telling them how attracted you are to them in whatever way. I mean, possibly. But I think also, like, as they put themselves out there, they're going to build confidence simply by doing that for themselves. I think that's going to happen pretty organically. But I do think that could be what's going on, is they've never put themselves out there in this way. They've never felt inspired enough to do so. Yeah, and maybe in part because they were afraid of rejection, right? Or they were afraid, like, their cup wouldn't be enough or something. And I think through this process, they're going to really see themselves a lot more clearly and come into their own emotionally. I also get the sense throughout all of this, and I think I've already sort of spoken about this, but I think you are going to feel a lot of confidence in the next 6 months. I think you're going to feel, like, I get the sense that you're going to feel very beautiful, very desirable, like you're very attractive to this one person, to many people, both. And that you're going to feel very clear about what relationship, situation, dating status, dating activities, whatever feels right to you. I think you're going to really, really trust your gut over the next 6 months. If that's something that you struggle with, I think that will be, something that you really find your footing with. You feel really connected to your own fire energy, but also like it's not leading you. So like you feel passionate, you feel attractive, you feel excited. I think if this is like one particular person, I think you're going to feel interested in the offer that they have, like willing to receive their, acts of love or romance. But again, it doesn't feel like it's from a needy place. And I also don't see you like rushing into anything. And I might mean that in a like, serious commitment type way. And I might mean that in a, physical intimacy type way, or it could be both, or it could be, something different. But regardless, you just feel very in your power. So, I mean, honestly, even if you move really quickly in all kinds of ways, it feels like it was done so with intention, feeling very in control of yourself and really comfortable and confident that that was the right move for you and that this is like the right person to do that with. But I see that a little bit less. I think that will be true for fewer of you listening. I think for the most part, for those of you listening, you're going to feel like people are coming to you, courting you, asking you on dates, all of this stuff. And you're in a position where you can decide what, if anything, feels right to you. I do think one person in particular will stand out, but I think largely you'll be feeling things out with them over the next 6 months. Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who are single but have a particular person of interest, what's happening in the next 6 months? The first thing I want to say is I do think it's possible, similar to the message I gave the previous group, I think it's possible that lots of people either are or will be interested in you in the next 6 months. I think the person that you are thinking about or currently interested in, I think they are one of those people. And I think for some of you, they are really going to come forward and try to pursue you. And I think for others of you, there's going to be somebody new that you form a relationship with. But I actually think it's pretty likely for most of you who are listening to this part of the reading that you will be in some sort of relationship by the end of the year. Yeah. I think for those where this person is coming forward, I think they've been doing a lot of reflecting on their past behavior and on the things that they thought that they wanted and the things that sort of inspired action in them in the past. And they've been doing a lot of healing around that and a lot of like recalibration, I want to say, to determine like what actually aligns with the future that they want to build. I think they see a really different future than the future they saw before. And I think they've really been taking the time to figure out or to sort of situate themselves, I guess, and to make sure their actions are aligned with the future that they see now. And I think it's really, like, the message is coming through very strongly for those of you where you are going to reunite with this person. The message is coming through really strongly that, like, you are an incredibly important part of the future that they see now. And I sort of want to pause and say, like, I wonder if we can ask, like, an additional question in a second about, like, how do you know which group you're in? Because I'm sure it can be frustrating if you don't know and it's not like intuitively obvious. So give me a second and I'll see if I can pull a card for like how you would know whether you'll have like reunion with this person or whether you'll meet somebody new. But let me just continue with this and we'll do that in a second. Yeah, so this person's gonna really come forward, I think, in the next 6 months and really want to make clear to you that they really want a future that includes you and they want to do what it takes to show you that, to prove that to you. And I want to say just like to be the person that you knew that they could be or should be. And I think that that might take some time. I don't know where you're at or what has or hasn't happened between the two of you. But I think within the next 6 months, you will have gotten to a place where you trust them, they trust you, like you're in a loving, committed relationship. Yeah. For those of you where it's somebody new, I think probably a big truth that's coming through for you in the next 6 months, or perhaps already has come through for you, is that the person that is currently on your mind is somebody who is really in a pretty self-serving energy. And of course, that can be true for those of you, where this person does the healing and comes back. But I think you'll see it in a way where you're like, oh, okay, like this person was never really invested in me in any kind of way. Like it was always selfish. I feel pretty, used or, yeah, I think used. And I'm sorry, because that sucks. But I think you'll be in a place where you can admit that to yourself. I don't think something's gonna like happen per se to show you that. It's possible, but I think just kind of within your own reflection, that will be made clear. And it's possible that will be made clear when somebody else comes forward, to be honest. I think there will be somebody new who really shows you the way that you should be treated, the way that you should be admired, the way that you should be invested in. I think they're really going to like just make such an effort to to show up and to romance you and all of that, yes. But I guess also like to do it without a whole lot of ego in that. Um, they seem a little starry-eyed at first, and some people might find that problematic. You might find that sort of adorable. I don't know, or it might annoy you. Hard to say. But I think regardless, like you're not gonna wonder where you stand in this person's eyes, and I don't think like that sort of initial starry-eyed energy is necessarily going to last. I think in a bad way. I think they will, of course, think highly of you moving forward. But I just mean like I think as you receive the attentions of this person and get to know them and whatnot, they will sort of settle down and realize that they don't need to be, quite so nervous about whether they're worthy of this incredible human in front of them. I think there will be a lot more settling in, settling down for both of you. And I think you will really, trust and admire them. And I think the more they see that reflected back, the more they'll sort of stand in the power of who they are, And I think they will really make you feel emotionally held, emotionally safe, and cherished in whatever way. And if that's the case, I don't see you kind of still being hung up on the person that's currently on your mind. I think if that all transpires with somebody new, I think you'll be in a place where, I mean, you might have to do some releasing, and some healing around that. I'm not saying you'll just be like, oh, good riddance, goodbye, I met somebody else. I mean, maybe. But I think like it'll be something where you'll see them more clearly and you'll be like, oh, okay, like what I thought they were isn't who they were. And so this is easier to let go of. So let me see if I can pull a card for how would those who are listening to this part, can you give me a card how they would know if the person they're currently interested in is going to come back? Okay, we've got the Page of Arrows or Page of Swords. And for those who are listening where it's going to be somebody new, we've got the Seven of Arrows or the Seven of Swords. The strongest message I'm getting is that it'll be pretty intuitive for you. I think if you feel like the truth that comes through is that you've been lying to yourself, which I know maybe it's hard to hear. I don't mean that with any kind of judgment. We all want to see what we want to see when we want to see it for all kinds of reasons. Please know, like, I can deeply relate to this. I think if you realize you've been telling yourself particular stories about this person to get by, to cope, to make excuses for them, if they were doing something that was shady behind your back, which I'm not saying people are incapable of change, but like if they were lying to you about it, I'm like, this is something that you already know. Like, I don't think like new information will come out. But if this is something they like never tried to talk to you about, never made amends for, things like that, if you notice a pattern for them, that could definitely be something that's suggesting like it'll be a new person. I think if you are somebody where even when you've tried to think about moving forward or meeting new people, you felt like your heart's still with this past person, and when you sit with that, it doesn't feel like it's in a problematic or toxic way. It really feels like, no, there's still something here for me. My attention keeps getting drawn back to it. I keep being sent signs about this person, keep seeing their name. I keep seeing like certain numbers that remind me of them. It feels like the divine is like continuing to guide me back to this energy. I just saw 2727, so I don't know what that means, but you can look up that angel number if that's meaningful. I think that could be a clue that this person is going to come back around. Okay, so for those of you who are currently in a relationship. What is coming for you in the next 6 months? There are a few different messages coming through. For some of you, you're in a relationship, but things don't currently seem like they're going well. And I think one or both of you is going to try to work to make amends in this situation. But I'm really focused on how these animals are sort of facing in opposite ways, but then one is coming towards the other here. I do think it's possible that the person you're in a relationship with, and I guess it doesn't have to be that things aren't going well. It could be just that you've both been focused on like other things and haven't had as much time with each other. But I do wonder if for some of you things aren't like have been rocky, like they haven't been great. And I think there will be action from this person to try to make amends or work on that or suggest something to help bring the two of you closer together again. I think maybe for like one person listening, you're going to decide actually that like the relationship isn't salvageable or it's not what you want. But again, I think that's for like literally one person, but I wanted to say it because the message was coming through. But I think for most of you, things have been good. You've just been like, again, like focused on different things. Like the relationship has not been taking the forefront. Or even if it has, it's been like action oriented. It's been like, okay, what are we doing next? There's been a lot going on. It's been potentially like, you know, more like physical connection than emotional connection. Again, I think that's true for fewer people, but that's certainly happens, right? And I think in that case, if like things are good, but you just haven't been like connecting as deeply, I see like an effort being made, like I said, to kind of recapture some romance, but I think also to recapture fun, creativity, and adventure. I think there's a sense here that one or both of you is going to be kind of like, hey, like we need to shake things up. Let's plan a trip. Let's shake up our date night, do different things. Let's, again, I think this is for like maybe one person, but like let's get married. Let's start a family, something like that. But I think for most of you, it feels a bit like, let's go on a trip. Let's try something new. Let's, you know, do this. I think this person's going to lavish a lot of attention on you. And I think that's going to sort of remind you of why you're in this relationship, why you want to stay in this relationship, you know, even in times or seasons when you're not connecting as much as maybe you both wish you were, or as you wish you were. I think there's this like beautiful reminder from this person that you're worth the effort and that the relationship is worth it. I don't know. I don't know why it's hard to put words to this. But I really feel this person. I think it's because I keep smiling and it's like hard to speak. And it's like, I think I'm embodying this person's energy towards you. It's like they're pausing and being like, hold on. I've been too distracted. I've been too focused on work or projects or, you know, day-to-day logistics or our psychopathic toddlers or who knows. And they're very like looking at you almost with fresh eyes and just grinning like an idiot and like, wow, I feel so lucky. I need to spoil you. I need to like tell you how fantastic you are and how strong you are and how lucky I am to be with you and all these kinds of things. Yeah. And I see you both just enjoying that energy and that fun. I see you guys kind of giggling like children together. I know it's obviously not here, but it's like I'm almost seeing like Six of Cups energy, but less in a nostalgic way and more just like, oh, we're being giggly kids together. Kind of like the sun card in decks where there are two little babies on the sun card instead of one on a horse. It feels sort of like that. Like, oh, we're just like free giggly children in the sunshine together. And it doesn't have to be literally that, of course, but I think like that energy of like, oh, I'm safe with you. you're my fun person. I'm lucky to be with you. That feels like it's really being recaptured in the next 6 months. And it's possible also, you know, I'm seeing this person coming towards you with that, but it's possible also that you instigate that, of course, or that it's both. It could be you coming towards this person in that kind of energy, absolutely. I think for a lot of you, though, it'll be like, hey, you know what? I really want to plan a trip before the end of this year. We got to shake things up. I feel like we've just been so focused on whatever. Let's go do something really fun together. And I think so you might be the one to bring it up, but then like I think the other person will jump on board and like help with the planning and be like, yes, you're right. Like I really want to connect with you in this way and do this fun thing with you, and both of you will get really excited about it. Yeah. It feels like the next 6 months feel like a fun mix of adventure and good time and reconnection, and also like you feeling really content both in the relationship and within yourself. Yeah, so that's really lovely energy. Okay, let's go ahead and close out the reading with a quick yes or no spread. I'm going to interpret it a little bit in case that's meaningful and like you get an answer that you don't like or weren't expecting, or you want to know how to shift the energy, because of course this is just an answer based on the energies in this very present moment when you're asking. This can be, again, about this relationship, these relationships, connections. It can be about anything else, whatever's on your mind, on your heart. So just take a second and think about what you want to ask about. I just got the message for some of you. It definitely is going to be a question about work or finances, which is totally fine. So let's see for pile number 2. Okay, pile number 2. You got a yes here, like a clear yes. I don't know whether you want any more information about that or not, but if you do, I think part of the yes is contingent on this truth coming through, or if you're asking about an unrelated question about you speaking your truth, or about you just really defending yourself against like naysayers in any type of way. So about whatever this is, those who would go against you or, you know, try to steal energy from you or whatever it is. And that could be internal as well. I think the important thing right now for you is to hold on to what you know to be true and what you know to be important, and to speak that as needed. And I think as you move forward with whatever this thing is you're asking about, to really make sure you're checking in and you're listening to your heart and you're really coming from a place of love. Like you're not worrying about what other people might think, or what other people might think you should do or have told you to do, or like information coming in from the outside at all, or even just from places within your own self that are coming from fear or something like that. I think this feels like you really doing and having done the work to speak truth to within yourself and to other people, and to make your decisions from a really heart-centered place. And it looks like that currently is the energy that you are embodying. And so that's really going to lead you to a positive answer with whatever you were asking about. And I did just see 11:11 on the camera timer as I said that. So beautiful reading. Thank you so much, pile number 2, for letting me do this reading for you. These are all the messages I have. If you enjoyed, I would love if you would consider liking or subscribing or leaving me a comment, letting me know how it resonated. I love hearing from you guys. But regardless, I hope you have a wonderful next 6 months. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this rose quartz, welcome to your reading. Today we are going to be asking the cards what you can expect in love before the end of 2026 or within the next 6 months from whenever you find this reading. We're going to do that by starting with some pre-shuffled oracle cards to get a sense for everybody that chose pile 3 what the energy they can expect to be in love over the next 6 months. And then after that, we're going to use the tarot to get specific messages. So I will put timestamps on the screen so that I can separate things out. I will do messages first for those who are single without a person of interest, then messages for those who are single with a person of interest, and finally I will do messages for those who are in a relationship. Then at the end, if you want to come back, regardless of which group you listened to, we're going to do a quick yes or no spread. We'll get both an answer and some like interpretation if you want to know kind of what the messages are around that or how you might shift that energy, things like that. But I will put that up with timestamp as well so that you can come back to that if you would like to. But yeah, if that sounds good, let's go ahead and jump right in. I guess I want to say before we do look at these cards though, and this, I don't know how many people this is going to resonate with, but I saw it really clearly, so here we are. When I was meditating before your group, I actually saw, this is so specific, but just in case it resonates. What I saw was like a couple leaving a chapel after getting married. And specifically, and I don't know why I saw this, but so my parents were both in the military when they met and when they got married. And so when they were leaving the chapel after they got married, I should know, having grown up in a military household, I should know what this is called, but I don't. But multiple people that were in attendance were also military, and so like did like had sabers up, I guess, like above them for them to like run out under as part of leaving the chapel. And anyway, I saw that image so clearly in my head, and I legitimately do not remember the last time I saw like a photo of that from my parents' wedding. But it made me wonder if you are attending a wedding soon, if you are planning a wedding, if you are with or are about to meet the person that you will marry. Also, I mean, you could just be military and that resonates for you, or your person could be. But I also wondered, I don't know, there's this sweet sense of innocence and new beginnings to it. There's also, without giving too much of my parents' love story away without their permission, they were friends for a long time before there was this like, hold on, wait, you're my person? And then because they'd been friends for such a long time, there was a pretty quick turnaround of deciding to get married. And they are still together today, many, many, many years later. So I don't know if any of that is meaningful or resonates, but I wanted to share it just in case. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and actually get into your oracle cards. So the first card we have here is number 21, the Creator. Then we have number 2, the Spider and Passion Flower, creative ingenuity. Ingenuity? I can pronounce things. I'm so distracted by the spider. I'm absolutely going to cover that up. And number 51, wolf spirit with the keyword family. That's adorable that it has the keyword family after I just was telling that story about my parents. Listen, I'm sorry to do it, but I have like really bad arachnophobia, so we're gonna just cover that little friend right up. You still get the picture. Okay, so pile number 3. What do I see for you for love before the end of the year? Y'all, I feel some kind of like nervous, like I can't settle down. Which is funny because these cards aren't really giving that message. Pile 3. I see you creating a family for yourself, a chosen family for yourself over the next 6 months. And that could certainly be in a relationship. And it also could be outside of a relationship. The message is not coming through really strongly one way or the other, which I find really interesting. I wonder if somehow for those where you're connecting with chosen family, like in a non romantic sense, I wonder whether that somehow is related to um, your romantic life, like tangentially or something, or will lead you to meeting this person or will just help you appreciate the person that you have, or I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, but I am getting a strong message that that's what's happening here. I get the sense that either you felt misunderstood or lonely, in friendships, in groups throughout the past. And or you've gotten to a place where the ways in which you've grown and developed, you really want to have a circle of people around you that match your current energy, your current goals and aspirations, something like that. That could be the case even if we are talking about this being a romantic choice. But it is really interesting with this word family coming through and thinking about like the story that I was telling about my parents, right? Where they both had, their own separate lives. Obviously, they were friends, but actually, they were stationed in Germany when they met. So they hadn't met each other's family or like friends they grew up with or anything like that. Um, and so I think there was this strong choice to say, okay, I'm choosing you. Like, let's invest in this and let's do this together. And like a bringing together of families of a bunch of people who hadn't met, who didn't know each other, who didn't even know what to expect, right? Um, but accepting that and creating that together. I think it's possible for some people that are here that you are meeting somebody and they already have a child, or you do, or both. And so, like, you're blending families. I think it's possible that there are people here who are polyamorous or practice ethical non monogamy, something like that. And so you're kind of situating or getting clear on like what it is that you want, like what you would consider family, particularly in a romantic sense moving forward. And I think it's possible that there are some of you who just like find or invest in the person that you know that you want to have a family with or that you do already have a family with. But there's something about it that feels like you're really tangibly building, like a choice is being made. Um, there's a way in which this is actually, being built over the next 6 months. And I'm not saying it'll be like fully settled in the next 6 months, but I do think like there will be tangible results by the end of the year. I think that you're going to feel like you have a really clear hand in this. Like, even if this is somewhat of a surprise or comes out of nowhere or you meet somebody in a strange way or whatever it is, I get this sense that you feel like you are the creator in this, kind of like the magician in tarot, if you will. Like, you are choosing this new creation, new family, whether with friends or a romantic partner or both. Like, it's very much a choice of yours and something you're actively participating in the building of. And I don't know why, but I can't shake the feeling that, like, there was nothing there and suddenly there was a whole world or a whole universe. And I guess that's true regardless, but there's something about this that, like, that feels really obvious in this situation. So, again, I don't know if this is just going to be a giant surprise or change for you. Um, but it feels like a really happy and positive one, and one that you feel really settled in and good about. Yeah, I almost get this sense that there's been this like passion or desire building. And I mean, of course, that could be like in a physically intimate way. But that's not even necessarily what I mean. Like, for this different life, for this new family, for this new way of relating and connecting, something like that. And it's been building very much beneath the surface. And I mean, maybe you've thought about it here and there, but I don't think it's something that you've been like putting a ton of time into, like tangibly, or honestly, even like emotionally or intellectually. And it's like a situation or multiple situations present themselves, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is what I was waiting for. So it's not like you like necessarily went out seeking it, but the desire has kind of been there simmering on the back burner, maybe. Yeah. This is really interesting because at the beginning it felt more so like it had to do with friendship, at least. And now I'm like, it feels a lot more blurred. Like it feels like it's you and a person that you're with, or, dating or whatever, and also your friends. And I don't want to say like everyone's one big happy family. I mean, maybe. But it feels sort of blurry. And that makes me wonder whether it actually is in your experience, whether it's different for everybody listening, or whether it's that's because for you, you're having this feeling and experience in multiple arenas, and so it's coming through like the energy is blurred for me, but that's simply because like the feeling is true in your romantic life and in your friend circle or at your job or in your family of origin or some combination of that. But yeah, let's go ahead and pull tarot now. And like I said, I'm going to pop timestamps up so we can, or so you can click ahead if you only want to listen to the part that is for you, and then join up again for the yes no at the end. So let's see. This tarot deck is giant, and I need to split her in half to shuffle. So for pile number 3, what can they expect in love by the end of the year or in the next 6 months? We've got the Queen of Arrows or the Queen of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll start with those who are single and do not currently have a person of interest. What can you expect next in love? The first thing I want to say is, I feel like, I mean, maybe this is a pattern for you, but I'm getting the message that like in the recent past, you've had to deal with some interesting things. Maybe in lots of arenas of your life, but I think in love particularly. I think you've had to be quite firm with one person or multiple folks. I think you've had to assert your boundaries quite clearly. Gosh, I hope that's not, I hope you didn't feel like you were in any kind of compromised position, but that's not really the energy I'm getting. I'm more so getting this sense that you were like, hold up, what are these individuals bringing towards me right now? And in what way do they think I should be excited about this? And I feel like I really feel you speaking your truth, your opinions, your needs. Yeah. And I really want to say, like, telling people where they can go. Good for you. Pile 3. That's beautiful. I see that so strongly, and I see you kind of being like, I know what I'm worth. I know what I want and what I'm trying to build. I know what's on my heart, and I don't have any patience for people that want to bring me nonsense that does not match that. I get the sense that right now you feel really divinely guided, and so maybe you're dating and maybe you're not. But I think you feel really divinely guided, and I think you have a strong sense that what it is that you're looking for not only is possible for you, but you're being taken to it and guided to it. I see you taking action towards that. So either you're dating or you're, doing things that you feel like are helping prepare you for that. Whether that's like healing past stuff, whether that's like building stability for yourself. If you are like a single parent, maybe that's like, finding a lot of stability with your child or your children. That could also be like if you recently graduated, like deciding where you want to live and what kind of job you want to have, right? And, finding your way in whatever profession you've chosen or in whatever career path. But it feels like right now you're focused on your stability and you're also it could be completely self-focused, but I'm just getting this sense that it's with a desire for or you're actively pursuing like some kind of romantic relationship. And again, I think like with really a whole lot of clarity around what you want that to look like. And it feels very family oriented. Within the next 6 months, I see you either meeting somebody that you're really excited about or just feeling so in love with the process, with the prospect, with the divine messages that you're getting and the hope that you feel. But even if you don't meet the right person or like somebody you're excited about in the next 6 months, I see you still feeling excited about the process. And I felt sort of hesitant saying that because I can totally understand, like, if you are wanting to build towards this and that's something you're looking forward to, me saying, like, oh, in the next 6 months, you might not meet that person, that might be really, you know, disappointing to hear. But I don't see you feeling disappointed. Um, so obviously, I mean, take what resonates, but I think you'll really meet people, and this could be, again, like not even in a dating context, but I think you're really going to meet people who align with you, who want the things you want, who share goals, who, have the same kind of desire to emotionally connect, these kinds of things. And so I think even if you don't meet like a romantic partner, I think you're going to feel really filled up, not only with self love, but with like connecting with others who are like you. But I think there's definitely a very possible chance that you're going to meet somebody that you're excited about. You might be in a committed relationship by the end of the year. You definitely might. I think for most of you, even if you do meet somebody, and honestly, even if you meet them pretty soon, I think it's going to still feel pretty brand new and like you're getting to know them. And I'm having a hard time not grinning really big. It's sort of hard to talk because I'm smiling so much. Like, I think you're really gonna feel, like I said, excited, fulfilled, happy. Um, yeah, but I don't think this is gonna be like the only thing in your life. And so maybe that's why it's like, yes, you're building towards this, but you're also taking it, I don't want to say at a slow pace. I mean, I think you're taking it at a pace that feels good and right to you and to your heart. And I think it just could be that you're so lit up by everything that you're building that it feels okay to take this. Again, I don't want to say slowly, but sort of like innocently, or like you're just having fun and enjoying each other's company. Um, it doesn't feel like solid future plans are being laid, and it also feels like that's really okay with you. So that's like an interesting message coming off of, what we saw here with this Four of Pentacles, in my sense that you are really trying to build this stable foundation for yourself. I wonder whether your foundation feels so stable that you're like very comfortable letting new love blossom and flow as it does. And I don't mean to suggest, like, if you meet somebody and you invest in them in this way by the end of the year, I don't mean to suggest it will never become that. I absolutely think it very well might. Um, but that doesn't feel like it's your focus. I really just feel something growing. I don't know if that's coming through, but we've got some fireworks going off tonight, so maybe that's meaningful to you in this particular part of the reading and what I was saying. You're growing something. I think it feels exciting. I think you're looking forward to it and enjoying the process of it. And I think, again, like that's with other people, whether that's family of origin, chosen family, like friends, whether that's like with a new romantic interest, whether that's with children you already have, any and all of the above. I think I think things are growing, and I think as the 6 months closes out or as the year closes out, I think you feel like you're really lit up and hopeful and looking forward to like what comes next in love for you in 2027. Yeah. Okay. So, for those of you who are single and do have a person of interest, the first message that I'm getting is that you probably already know what I'm going to say. So, if I mess it up, please trust your intuition and not me. I mean, that's true regardless, but I'm getting the message that you have a very, very, very strong intuitive sense of what the next 6 months will hold for you. I don't even know that I'm getting the message to say trust yourself very strongly. I think you already do. Um, I hope that this is just beautiful confirmation for you. And I totally get needing that um, in some seasons and in some moments. So, what do I see coming for you by the end of the year? The first thing I see is clear communication. And this could be coming in from the person that you're interested in. This could be from you to them, either you reaching out or in response to them, reaching out to you. But it's interesting, like it doesn't feel cold. And I guess I'm just saying that because I think sometimes the Queen of Swords can feel like emotions are put on pause, on purpose, because we want to focus on the facts here and not run away with ourselves. I don't know if you can hear a motorcycle in the background there, if that's meaningful to somebody. It doesn't really feel like that. It feels like a lot of honesty being shared. And yes, it feels like, hey, I need to speak my truth to you. Again, from one or both of you to the other. And in that sense, not like letting your emotions run away with you. But it's interesting because it almost feels like a love confession of sorts. I guess what I want to say is this. Sometimes when people come forward with some kind of a like love confession or truth about, how they feel or what they want or what things have been or, why things have gone the way they have, either between the two of you or in past situations or whatever. When you kind of like situate, like, where do we go from here? Here's where I'm at. Like, where do we go from here? Sometimes that can feel like really driven by passion. Sometimes that can be really driven by emotion, sometimes both. This feels like I think you and this person, but I think the emphasis is actually on them. So, take that for whatever it's worth. I think that they have done the work to, like, yes, I think they feel a lot of emotion and passion both, but to like look at themselves, get really clear, and like they want to come to you with a lot of clarity and a lot of maturity, right? For some of you, this is going to be you to them. And I'm unclear, in either case. I'm a little bit unclear about whether you're going to move forward in a relationship with this person. I definitely think some of you will. So maybe I need to even separate it out further. Let me say this. I think for those of you that will, you're going to really take like tangible, clear steps together. And I think it might feel like it's a little bit hard to open up at first, or whether the other person isn't quite opening up at first, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's just this sort of like, I want to do this so intentionally, and I want to make sure I'm not like falling into past like problematic patterns or something like that. And again, that could be with you or just with previous relationships. But there's this sort of like, let's be really clear kind of each step of the way. And then I think like that foundation allows both of you to feel like your hearts are really safe. For those of you where it does not go to that place, I think that will be a really clear decision. And I think it will be because, you know, if you come to them with this clarity and they can't match you or meet you there, I think you sort of regroup and say to yourself, like, okay, hold on. Is this worth me continuing to invest in? And maybe it is and maybe it isn't. But kind of like right now, I see that they're not in the place, right? And I don't want to like minimize that might be really painful. But I do think if that's the case, you're still going to feel like you're growing and creating this like beautiful life and family for yourself. And for some of you, that will be like with the hope, and I don't know that with the focus, but with the hope that this person will, you know, eventually be a part of that, or you'll be able to have that with them. And I feel like for some of you, it'll be like, oh, actually, hold on. Like, now that I see what it feels like to have these beautiful, chosen, creative, supportive relationships, now that I see what it feels like to like have people around who really love me for me and who are like aligned with the person that I'm becoming, I see that this previous person was not that. I think for some of you, this person is going to come forward and maybe say and do all of the right things, and you might hesitate at first. And I don't know if that's because of things that have happened between the two of you or just for you with situations in the past. But you might sort of feel like, I don't know if I can trust this person. I don't know if I can trust myself. I don't know if this is going to align with what I want and what I'm building. And it's funny because I'm getting the message that sort of regardless, things feel like by the end of these 6 months, and I think like, you know, for at least half of them, so like, you know, at least the last 3 of these months, but maybe more, you feel really creative, you feel really passionate, you feel really inspired, you feel really in love with life, in love with yourself. And so it's possible that this person is included in that. And so it's like you were kind of able to get to a place where you let your guard down and just feel the like loving, creative, happy feelings of sharing this with them. And I think for others of you, it's like, okay, no, it didn't work out with this person, but I'm really feeling myself and like feeling clear and excited and positive about myself, about my life, about my friends, about where I'm going, and like possibly just about love in general, or possibly you've met somebody new. I think for some of you, there will be like a new person that you at least meet and sort of start to have a bit of a crush on. It could be more than that, but at least that in the next 6 months. So yeah, I know that was like so many different messages coming through, but I really was getting a lot of mixed energy here. That's funny that I kind of started with like, you know what's gonna come, and then I proceeded to give like 18 different messages. So I suspect that's like, you know which of those applies to you. I think the biggest message here is to trust your heart and make sure that your like body cues and your emotional cues are aligned with whatever choice you're making in any given moment. So like even if you intuitively know that like this is the right person for you and they're coming forward and they're saying all the right things, but you're not quite ready to trust them yet, right? Or you're not quite sure or whatever it is, just listen to yourself and just be honest about where you're at and how you're feeling and what you need. If this is the right person for you, like they will listen, they'll meet you there, they'll be patient with you, right? Um, but I think because you're taking the time, no matter which of these messages applied to you, because you're taking the time to listen to yourself and to make sure you feel grounded and, like physically and emotionally safe, and like your nervous system is calm and everything, and you're making decisions from a centered place, because you're doing that, you're going to be able to be, I think within the next 6 months, but also certainly by the end of the next 6 months, you're going to be able to be in this beautiful, creative, passionate, hopeful flow state where you're excited to see what comes next and you're really enjoying what is. Yeah. Okay. For those who are already in a relationship, what do I see for you in love in the next 6 months? The first message I want to give is, if this is a very new relationship, if this is something that has just started, I think it has the potential to go the distance for you. Whether that's like to marriage or, lifetime partnership or whatever it is, I definitely think it has that potential. But even if it's been something that's longer standing, I think that the two of you or more are really building something together. I suspect you're in the process of doing that right now. And I'm having a hard time figuring out how to articulate what it is that I'm seeing here. It's like each of you had a vision of what you wanted in the relationship. And I think you absolutely have been building it. And certainly your relationship, might have a lot of emotional connection and passion in it and whatnot. But it feels like both of you have been holding back in different ways. And like, I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, right? Like, we get to know certain parts of ourselves and then we're able to share them in a relationship, even if you've, been married for 20 years. So like, that's not a criticism of either of you or of the relationship. But I get the sense that at least one of you has felt like you either needed to be, or just that you have been in a pretty intellectual space. And one of you has been in a very building, okay, like, well, we need a really stable and solid foundation or whatever else. And this could be like throughout the relationship, however long it's been, or this could just be like a recent phase. But either way, I see that as something that's like really worked for both of you. Probably both of you individually, but also I think in the relationship. Like, I get the sense that things have gone pretty well between the two of you, and that even though your sort of energy hasn't been the same, you've been quite aligned with what you were doing, and you've each sort of had your role in that. And this could all be, subconscious. It certainly doesn't have to be like, oh, yes, I will, make the physical decisions and you will make the intellectual ones. Nothing like that. I mean, it could be, no judgment, but I don't really see that here. And I think that in the next 6 months, there might be some sort of acknowledgement of that, or conversation about wanting to move the relationship to the next level. That could be like wanting a higher level of commitment. That could be wanting to start a family, wanting to move in together, wanting to buy a house, wanting to move, get a pet, whatever it is. Um, it does feel like it's probably some sort of substantial change, though. And that could be just emotionally. Like, you could sort of both come to each other and be like, hey, I actually can feel myself really shifting, and I want to really open my heart to you in a different way than I have before. Or it could be something tangible like I named, or both. But I see it really going in a beautiful direction. Like, I don't see this going badly. So even though I think the ways that you've been interacting, at least recently, or maybe always, I think those things worked really well for you. And so really changing things up might seem, scary or overwhelming or intimidating, or will our relationship survive this? I think it will not only survive it, but I think it will like like usher in a whole new chapter or breathe life back into it. I see your hearts just really opening up to each other and the love really flowing. It feels very passionate. So, if that's something that has not been a focus in your relationship and it's something you would like to have as a focus, all this creative energy certainly could be transferred there, or could be speaking about that. You could certainly be creating a family if that's something that you want and that you're choosing. But yeah, it just feels like this, like, hold on, I've known you for however long, for all this time, for all these years, or, even for just a short time, but like I thought I knew you decently well. And having this new energy between us and like seeing new parts of you and watching you open yourself up, like both to me, but also to yourself, or maybe like, building, a new chosen family for yourself or whatever it is. I think you're going to see each other in new and different roles and see yourselves in new roles. And that's going to feel really exciting and probably fuel some of the passion. Like, hold on, I didn't know everything about you. And that's really intriguing and interesting. And I would like to keep getting to know you better and more deeply. Yeah. And it does feel like some sort of expansion. So I know I talked about building things initially. And I think for this group in particular, I do think there's something tangible that's going to happen here that the two of you are going to create together. So that could be like getting married, like that kind of image I saw, if you're not already, right? That could be having a child. Again, only if, that's what you're wanting. And it could be something else. It could be starting a business together. It could be, moving somewhere and joining a new community. I have no idea. But whatever it is, it does feel like there's something tangible, like really blossoming here and expanding. And it feels like something that's gonna, like I said, really change you. But it feels like a pretty substantial change, but it also feels organic and happy and comfortable and harmonious. Even of course, if there are like, bumps along the way. I think by and large in the relationship, it's not going to feel bumpy. You're going to feel like really seen and held and supported and loved. Yeah, that's exciting. Okay, so let's close things out with a little yes or no spread. And as I said, I'll tell you what answer comes out. And then I'll give a bit more information or context based on the cards that come out in case you want just to have that context or information, or if you don't like the answer you get, you're wondering how to shift the energy, all those kinds of things. So for pile 3. Okay. So pile number 3, your answer is probably yes, but with a bit of caveat. The first thing I want to say is it's pretty amazing that we like first got the Queen of Swords on top of the Queen of Swords. That's pretty wild to me. I'm getting the message that like there is or there has been some sort of interference here. This could be a person, a particular energy, multiple people. But I am sensing some energy here that, at least in the past, if not currently, you've had to protect yourself from. And there's something about like that energy that's been distracting you from putting your focus or your energy towards like a positive, full yes in this situation. I think currently, though, you're seeing that, like you're recognizing that your energy has been split. And like, please adjust that if that doesn't quite make sense in your situation. But basically, I see you like, okay, what do I need to get rid of, set boundaries around, make clear, protect myself from? What situations can I remove myself from? What friendships do I need to end? Or whatever it is. Because I'm seeing that like something is holding me back from this particular manifestation. And I think making that choice I do think it might be hard. I do think it might be tiring, and I wish I could give you a better answer on that, that it's all gonna be sunshine and rainbows, but I think it's gonna be a little bit challenging. I think it is gonna take some energy to disentangle yourself from whatever this is, even if it's just energetic. I mean, I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but sometimes, like, I will have left, a job or a relationship or whatever it is, even many years ago, and have thought, like, I've processed through all the emotion around it, and then come to realize that either like that pattern is still haunting me within myself, or just I hadn't really fully detached from that energy. And that's okay. Like, that's not to shame me or you or anybody, right? We heal things as they come up. And so I think what's happening here is, and you probably already know this, something has come up for you to look at, for you to separate yourself from. And that's probably going to take a lot of energy. And that's okay. Do what you need to do to kind of go through that final push, and I think you'll like find yourself on the other side with a full positive yes for whatever it is you're looking for. I don't know what you're asking about, but I see something new starting, or yeah, it almost feels like you stumbling into a clearing and the sun coming out and you being like, oh, okay, I finally did it. I cut that off, and now I have space for welcoming whatever it is into my life that I'm wanting or asking for or about. And if that doesn't make sense, if it's not like a tangible thing that's coming, I still think you're going to feel a pretty like visceral feeling of, oh yeah, okay, now this is possible for me. And so that might feel like it's slow going, but I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think it just depends on like where you're at and how much energy you have to devote to sort of like separating yourself from, or cleansing yourself, or protecting yourself from whatever this energy is. It feels pretty sticky, but I certainly think that you can do it. And I think you're going to feel like it was really, really, really worth it. Yeah, it just might take some time. And that's okay. Ah, I don't know why, but this feels not heavy, but like just my heart goes out to you, and I want to say, like, please, as much as you can, be patient with yourself and with this process, because you're going to get this positive outcome you want. It might not happen as quickly as you'd hope, or be as smooth sailing as you'd hope, and that's okay. I think whatever this is, it's worth it to you. Um, yeah. I'm also getting the message that if this is about someone else, like if you're kind of wanting to know, like, oh, does this person have feelings for me, or, something like that. And so, like, a lot of what I said doesn't necessarily apply. It might very well apply to them. So it might be hard to know of that whether or not that resonates, because it might be something that's going on for them internally. That was a sort of loud firework. I don't know if you could hear it, but that suggests to me that yes, in fact, this is, going on for somebody else potentially. And really, I hate to name this, but I think I need to. If like somebody is choosing between people here, if there's like a third party situation here, um, I think that's like currently in the process of being cut off. So hopefully that's good news and positive. It might be painful to like know that that's been going on if you didn't already, or whatever it is. I mean, I don't think, listen, if you're in a relationship, like, I don't see like that you're being cheated on or something. Please don't take that on. But I just mean, like, if you're interested in somebody, you haven't talked to them in a long time, it might be painful to like hear that there's somebody else in their energy. But it could be somebody from the far back past, like I said, and that could be something that they're like having a final clear out energetically from. So it doesn't mean there's someone else necessarily around. But I think if all of this is the case, this person knows their energy has been split, and they're doing what they need to do to end that. Yeah, but I think for all of you, this ends really happily, both in love and with whatever you asked about. So, pile 3, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you would consider liking or subscribing to the channel, or also leaving me a comment letting me know. I'd love to hear from you. But regardless, I hope that you have a wonderful next 6 months, and I will look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care. Bye.